So it's come to my attention that the perpetrator of the Toronto van attack back in 2018, Alek Minassian, who's on trial now, his trial has begun. His defense team wants to use autism as a means of defense, saying that because he's autistic, he didn't know or he didn't think it was morally wrong to rent a van and run down people in Toronto and North York, killing 10 and injuring 15. That's what they are hoping for. So, what they're hoping for is the judge will say, okay, well, he's autistic. So, let's not throw him in jail. Let's put him in mental home or some kind of thing for supervision, like what they did with the guy who shot Reagan. Uh, Not guilty by reason of insanity. We'll put him in a mental home, be taken care of, get medication, doctors, nurses looking after him, playing some board games every now and again, watching a TV in some common hall, playing hospital activities, singing, all that sort of living his life more or less in a mental hospital. And then after a while, maybe he'll have controlled visits and we just keep adjusting medication, counseling, hypnotherapy, all that sort of stuff. Instead of jail, instead of hardcore jail, sleeping on a block with a metal toilet, with a sink on top of it, sleeping next to that in a cold cell with dangerous people who could rape you in the middle of the night or stab you in the middle of the night, police officers screaming at you, loud noises in the night, people being raped in the next cell, all sorts of stuff, just living your life in hell like that. Not being able to see outdoors, especially now with this China virus, everybody's inside their jail cell. All that sort of, instead of jail, they're hoping to have him in a mental home, maybe medication, take care of him. He didn't know what he was doing, all this stuff. Uh, I'm just here to say I hope to God that the judge does not allow the defense team to use autism as a means of defense. And the reason I say that is because look, I actually remember when that attack happened, that van attack. That was 2 years ago. I was in school. I was in Toronto at the time. I was in Toronto at the time it happened. I wasn't in North York. That was on the other side of the city. I was in Scarborough at the time, but I was in Toronto. I remember hearing it. I think it happened around lunchtime. I was in school at the time. I heard it on the phone, and I even made videos about it, which I think one of the videos I made about the van that really shot the Arana Nation up. That the subscribers came in, and some of y'all remember that some of you came here because of those videos. I thought it was terrorism because at the time there was so much Islamic terrorism going on. I thought it was ISIS. But then I came to realize it was a different type of terrorism. It was an Islamic terrorism. It was beta male incel terrorism. An incel is involuntary celibate, meaning guys who are not able because they feel that they just can't attract women. Women, they think that no woman is attracted to them or attractive women aren't attracted to them. They're involuntarily celibate. So they're forced to not have sex by society because women are not attracted to them. And I call those type of people losers, okay? I mean, not because women are not attracted to them, but because they give up on themselves. And if you ever give up on something that you want, you're a loser. You are a loser. If you think that pouting about it and this is why he did this. Alek, he is an incel. He's admitted and he's an incel. He admires Elliot Rodger, who's another incel, who's another murderer, who's burning in hell right now. And he committed the attack because he was sexually frustrated Women didn't want to have sex with him. Women didn't go out with him. Women didn't date him. He wasn't getting attention from women. He didn't have a lot of friends. He was sexually frustrated. He was emotionally starved. And he said, well, you know what? I'm going to take out my revenge on this society and just kill. I mean, he didn't just kill women. He killed all sorts of people. If I was sitting out in the street there that day, he would have killed me. So that's the reason for that attack, why 10 people died and 15 were injured. And when he was brought into the police station, and I've seen all the videos, I've seen the interrogation, and I've seen where he was booked. So when he was brought in by the Toronto police and he was booked in the station, and the officer asked Alek, are you suffering from any mental problems? Alek responded that I am a murdering piece of shit. That's what Alek said. He said, I am a murdering piece of shit. And he said it in such a way where he knew he was, look, he's basically admitting that he's a murderer. And he's also insinuating that murderers are pieces of shit. And a piece of shit is something that's not a good thing. It's the lowest of the low. So he knows what he did was wrong. And there's no medical book you'll ever find anywhere which says that autism causes crime. You see all these this side of the bookshelf is my father. He's a psychiatrist, He's a good, smart, you'll never find anything in any of these books which says that autism or Asperger's or any of those things you are susceptible to criminal activity. Now, we're not talking about psychopath. We're not talking about schizophrenia. We're talking about autism. And autistic people have problems, okay? And you know something? I'm sure that Alex had pain in his life. He had pain. It's hard when, you're young and you have all these sexual chemical juices inside of you, and it's not as easy to get women, and you want to, you have all this sexual tension built up in you, and you want to bang, and you want to do all that sort of stuff, and women just, it's difficult. It's difficult to get women. It is, but it can be tough. As a young man with hormones, it can be difficult. It's hard. It's hard, especially when you look like how Alek looked. And I'm not trying to be mean, but, it's not impossible. And one thing I've learned about women is that, look, women don't care about how much money you have. Women don't care how rich you are. They really, 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 really don't. I don't care what the MGTOW people say or the Incel people say or all these losers have to say. Women are not as hard as we make them out to be. We men, really, it just goes down to how we present ourselves. Don't be too desperate. Don't be too needy. Don't be too obsessive. But don't be a cold dick. But just the right tone. And there are many people on the internet and stuff who give advice who I've even had to follow, and it works. It's not that difficult, but I do understand where he's coming from. But he knows what he did was wrong. Alek knows what he did was wrong. He knows that he snapped, he got angry, he rented a vehicle, and he went wild on the streets of North York, Toronto, Ontario, Canada. He murdered people, men and women, for no reason whatsoever. He needs to rot in jail. And I'll tell you something. If Alek ends up going to a mental hospital or ends up not being found guilty, and I go to jail because of, the stuff I'm in, the problems I'm in, man, boy, can you imagine if Alek Minassian, who kills 10 people, injured 15 people on the streets of Toronto, murder them, and they lock me up, it's like, or they lock Adam Skelly up, whoo, boy, oh boy, can you imagine when you hear on CTV, City News, CHH, CBC News, breaking news, the Toronto van perpetrator, Alek Minassian, has been found not guilty by reason of insanity. He will be sent to Whitby, Ontario shores for the foreseeable future. He will be under the care of CAMH for the foreseeable future. He will be sent to that what's that mental hospital in? Is it in Peterborough or wherever? He will be sent there for the foreseeable future. Mount Sinai, wherever he's going to be staying there. Not guilty. He is not guilty by reason of insanity. He's mentally ill. He has autism. There's no book, no psychiatrist say autism. But it's it. But then the commander-in-chief of Arana Nation gets locked up, or Adam Skelly ends up getting locked up, or for breaking the. I can't imagine what the reaction will be. I think it's like just like the same thing with. What's his name, who lived in Alberta? The guy who got $10 million from the Canadian government. Omar Khadr killed 2 American soldiers, murdered them. He killed them, and he did it deliberately. He did it. He was in war. He was at war, and he killed them. And America kidnapped him and locked him up in Guantanamo Bay and poured water. They should have done worse to him. But he somehow made his way back to Canada, and because of the treatment of the Americans for killing 2, they gave him $10 million. $10 million! $10 million! What the? I mean, okay, give him. I'm not saying he should get anything, but my God! $10 million! Some people don't earn that in a lifetime. I mean, where did $10 million? Give him $100. Give him $50. Give him a Tim Hortons coupon or something. Give him a Burger King coupon. Give him some Swiss Chalet coupon. Give him something. Where did $10 million come from? Where the hell? And he's getting it because he was treated a little roughly by Americans. The treatment that Omar Khadr gave to the American soldiers is far worse than what America did to him. You know, America could have electrocuted him, or hanged him, or put him on, inject him with injecting needle or lethal injection, whatever. I mean, and Canada think they're going to give him $10 million? Where does that figure come from? So we're going to award killers? But Adam Skelly, who needs to feed his family and all this stuff, they end up locking him up. They end up saying, you know what, we're going to lock you up. Or even Kevin J. Johnston, Freedom Report, they locked him up for 6 weeks in Milton. 6 weeks he was locked up in a disgusting jail cell. The toilet backed up for days. All kind of disease, all kind of stuff on the floor, the beds. I mean, and they locked him up because he, you know, they say he had hate speech. They say he may have also taken a picture of some guy's license plate. I mean, they locked him up for 6 weeks. But Alek Minassian killed 10 people, and he's just going to be, he's mentally ill? Oh, God. So I'm just here to say, look, Alex knows what he did was wrong. And I think he's even playing an act. Okay? When he went into that booking station, he said he was a murdering piece of shit. He said he was. That's what his words were. You can look it up, too. I'll put the link up in the description. You can watch the interrogation, and you can watch the booking when he was brought in by Toronto police, and they asked him, you have any mental illness, all this? Because, you know, that's what they do when they book you. They ask you, where do you live, blah, 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 do you have anything? And he says, I'm a murdering piece of shit. He knows what he did was wrong. He knows what he did was wrong. He knows. And he said that at a time when he, you know, during the interrogation, I'm pretty sure he's playing it up, you know, because he's had a chance to calm down and everything like that. But when he's brought in after the thick of it, oh murdering people. I'm terrible. This is terrible. He also tried to hide everything from his family when he was planning it. He went to great lengths to hide everything that he was doing, that he was planning. So yes, he's a murdering piece of shit. And if he thinks that he wasn't gonna get any female coochie before, he's definitely not gonna get it now. He may get some. He may get something else, but it's not gonna be coochie. It's gonna be something far more unpleasant. I mean, unless maybe he's bisexual or homosexual, maybe it won't be as unpleasant. But if he's straight, if he's a straight shooter, he's a straight man, he's straight heterosexual, it's not gonna be very pleasant. But we'll see what happens. But I would really be disappointed if this individual were to even get less than life. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's not going to get life. He'll probably get like 40 years or something like that, but he should get life. I mean, he killed 10 people. Killed them. Just killed them. Murder. Just over what? Over what? But anyway, this is the